Okay, now the next thing that I would like to say, in fact, everything I said so far might be enough for you. Maybe that you're starting to get a sense already of, oh my God, I don't have to find my thing, my calling, my purpose. I might be able to build it. It might be something I can design from the ground up, starting with lifestyle and then through the lens of place design. So you got Jenny's Place, like maybe you're off to a roaring start already here in whatever 10 or 15 minutes, however long it took me to say that. But the third thing, and maybe it's just a bonus, maybe you don't need this now or you might want it later, is what do you do then? Well, at least that solves the problem that a lot of clients have, which is you wake up on a Tuesday morning or you come home after work from a job you don't like, and you finally have 2 hours to sit down and work on your business or your modality, whatever it is, and you don't know what to do. It all seems, well, it's hard to know where to start. And so if you're resonating with everything so far and you've got, Jenny's Place, and you think, okay, what do I do with Jenny's Place, right? Well, now there's a lot of fun. Design starts to happen there. You start thinking about things like, let's just say, well, I'd like to teach workshops. I'd like to maybe travel a workshop around. I'd like to put out a book. Maybe art is a piece of this. I think we'd do something for kids on Saturdays. You start thinking through the lens of, interestingly, other people. You start thinking about experiences that you would enjoy designing for other people. See, it's very interesting how that happens, because when we're thinking of a label, like an architect, yoga teacher, or whatever, we often end up thinking a lot about ourselves, not on purpose, but as saying, how can I be the best Reiki master going? It's all about me. And I do think of other people, of course, but just the setup of the question doesn't invite the full spectrum of creativity like place design does. As soon as you start filling Jenny's Place, you want to talk about creativity and you want to talk about motivation. There's no more sleepiness, when that starts happening. If anything, you have trouble getting stopped working. That's part, there's an occupational hazard there. Because it's so enjoyable. This is like your art in the world. It's the thing you like to create every day, is to create what happens in Jenny's Place. That's how I feel about the Big Dream Program. I work like heck on the thing. And I put a lot of time into this. And I do care about other people. And I also care, it's just so enjoyable. It's hard not to, So all of this, as you can see, can really contribute to finding that sense inside, unlocking that sense inside that we're doing what we're meant to be doing. And I certainly feel that. You can probably feel it from me, And it's not rocket science, nor was it, well, it might have been luck, I don't know. But looking back, it was design. And I'm telling you the pieces that went into it. So another piece anyway that I was leading up to was, what do you do next to get Jenny's Place started? And it's just simply projects. I call them big dream projects because they have a very specific quality to them. I suggest people take some of their interests in their personal lives, like their big dreams in life, whether it has anything to do with work or not. Their daily life, let's say they want more meditating or journaling. There's a good example. And I take them through other personal life questions and then work questions. And then I invite people to begin to design projects that they could deploy through Jenny's Place in this example that also make their daily lives better, their personal lives better. Here's an example. Let's say you want to meditate more and you want to journal more. Just take as an example. And you never have the time to do it, or you can't get yourself to do it, or something like that. Then one of the things you might deploy as offer out to see if you could interest people in signing up might be, in Jenny's Place, might be a journaling meditation every morning for 15 minutes or something. And you sort of set it up. Maybe it's like an online space where everybody can gather for 15 minutes, just as an example, And then not only is it fun to design that experience for other people, perhaps you really enjoy it, and it's nice to connect with people, perhaps when you're doing those things, but you're doing it yourself. Do you see what I mean? So those ideas came out of me asking Jenny, in this case, about other stuff in the personal habitat of her life that she would like to cultivate more of. I'd like to cultivate more meditation and journaling. Great, you could just do it. That's fine. Perfect answer. Or maybe you might even want to bring it into things that you mobilize in Jenny's place. See what I mean? So that alone, that whole way of approaching it is, again, my arm's getting sore, is a paradigm shift for a lot of people, because we've been taught so thoroughly, we've been brainwashed so thoroughly, that work is separate from life, like these compartments, these boxes. And if that works for you, fine. It's just that it doesn't work for most of us, and it's not true for most of us, and we try to make it true and it doesn't work. And so this whole approach, like in the Big Dream Program, where people are deploying projects regularly inside my program, coming out with these super cool projects that are very inspiring when you read about them to other people. And like in my old life, I would have looked at those projects and almost had this kind of envy of them, like, oh my God, that person has so obviously found their thing. These people, I know them personally, the ones that I'm describing, found it because of the very things I'm sharing with you. It's just a set of questions, a set of lookout points that make things look different. And then everything falls into place. Most people think that what their thing is, was always right there. It was just hard to spot because the map wasn't right. The template wasn't right. The questions weren't right to bring it out. Hang on, someone's at my door. Wasn't for me. And so this idea of approaching, so we got lifestyle, and then we've got what is my work? Well, it might be experienced designer, Jenny's place. And then we've got how do I approach that through a lens that's not compartmentalized. I talk about ecosystems a lot in the Big Dream Program, and that we're constantly invited to weave in things that we care about a great deal from our personal lives and our business in together. I'm remembering one of the first things I did when I started the Big Dream Program, started sharing this with people, is one of the things I had wanted to do. And my wife and I are empty nesters now, but I had small kids at the time. I wanted to spend more time with them. I was stuck in my office doing Reiki, which I loved, but being stuck in an office, I didn't love. Hence some of my advice earlier, right? Be careful how you deploy your interests. But anyway, when I got to the Big Dream Program, one of the things that I wanted in my personal life was I wanted to do a big road trip with the kids. I just wanted more travel and more experiences with the kids. I sensed that, the time was limited in terms of before they grew up and moved away, and I was right. And I want to do that. And so I combined that with my desire to begin my Big Dream Program, start sharing these messages out a little bit more, because I love them, as you can tell. And so we did a Big Dream road trip across Canada. The kids and my wife doesn't particularly love big road trips, and so she opted out of this. And anyway, the kids and I struck her across. We did 13,700 kilometers across Canada one way, and then clear across to the other way, to the other coast. It was awesome. And I taught workshops along the way, which helped to pay for it. And the whole thing was amazing. I came into workshops with sand on my feet because we were just swimming someplace. I enjoyed that so much. And so that's an example of what we mean in the program by a Big Dream project, is to start deploying Jenny's place in a way that also, if possible, improves your daily life in all of the personal ways as well. So that's the next paradigm that we go through in the Big Dream program. Of course, I have a lot of lessons on it in there, but you get the idea, and maybe you can take this and run with it yourself.